I consider myself to be an avid learner, forever a student. I love doing research. I love getting lost in books and just being curious about all sorts of things. My most recent, or I guess the longest research project is me. If you haven't watched my last video, I'm going to put the link in the description box, and I'll probably put a link up here somewhere. In that video, I talk about awareness and how that is the first step, or really the foundational step for me in building a life that is intentional and conscious rather than from a default of pain and trauma and hurt. And one of the things that I mentioned in that awareness video was really honing in on meditative practices that help me to understand how the dialogue in my mind also connects with my physical body and how my physical body reacts to certain things. And so there's this very kind of inquisitive, well, why do I do that? Or why do I think this? Or why does my body do this? And I was in this why state for quite some time. I still am to a large degree, but most of the things that I'm asking myself why about are pretty kind of consistent. So there really isn't a lot of new data or information that I'm taking in. Have you ever heard someone say, what's your why? And they're asking that usually if you're aspiring for a goal. Maybe you're starting a business, maybe you're entering a new relationship, maybe you're moving, maybe you're changing careers, whatever the case may be, going back to school. People will say, okay, well, what's your why? And the reason why they're asking that is because the why is your North Star. It's the question, it's the guide that stays focused and keeps you on track and on your path so that you don't veer too off. I mean, of course, we veer off of the path, and that's fine. That's understandable. It happens. But if you know your why, it brings you back into alignment. It brings you back into focus and keeps you on track. There's another why that is not as productive and is not as helpful. And that why was the one that had me continually questioning past events, past situations and circumstances, and trying to get to the bottom and the core or the inception point of the thing. And what ended up happening was, rather than using the why as my North Star, the why began to leave me in analysis paralysis. Once I focused on a particular narrative or story or past experience, I began to ask myself, okay, well, why did that happen? What was the cause? And more times than not, there was another person or other people that were involved in that memory, in that narrative. And so then I began to say to myself, okay, well, why did they do that thing? And why did they respond, or why did they act in this way? Because that thing that they did or said created some sort of narrative in my mind that then continually repeated and perpetuated. And I can't ask someone else's why, even if the person was around and I could ask them, hey, why did you do that? That's their thing. And that's now me inserting myself into someone else's experience. And that's taking me off of the focus of what it is that I'm trying to do. And so I didn't think about that in the moment. I didn't ask people from my past, hey, why did you do this? But I began to ask myself, I wonder why that person did that. And I then started to do this kind of forgiveness practice, but then I became really curious and I wanted to really go back to this starting point, because I felt as though if I could keep going back and I could kind of pull on that thread and keep pulling on that thread until everything unraveled and I could get back to the starting point. Then I could say, okay, this is where it started. Let's work on that. But here's the thing. A lot of the experiences that were from my past that made me question why this happened or why XYZ or why this person did XYZ, these people are no longer around. So I can't ask the question. And honestly, the question really wouldn't be helpful, as I was saying, because that's the other person. But I just stayed in this loop. And it took me some time to understand that I was kind of doing another type of distracting, that I wasn't really taking the time to say, okay, this happened. I understand why this happened. Even if I don't have a grand understanding, I know why this narrative is coming up in my mind. I know why my body responds to these things and this particular stimuli. I get it. I have clear understanding. And even if I don't get down to the nitty gritty, I got that part. But because I kept digging and wanting to go further and further and further, some things I realized, oh, these aren't even my things. Some of these things were from other family members, particularly like older generations of people in my family that may have said or done something that affected me in a certain way. And then, I mean, it's like I'd have to go back to that generation. They're not going to answer my questions, right? And then, okay, then where did they get that from? And maybe that was a learned behavior that they got. And then now I'm going back generations and generations, and it's just becoming this all-consuming thing when that's not really necessary. So I was getting stuck and I was getting trapped in my own process of trying to understand me. And like I said, I didn't realize that it was one of the ways that my mind, my ego, my identity was trying to hold on to itself. These other parts of me were recognizing, oh wait, she's trying to investigate something that may potentially mean that we will no longer be in existence, or our purpose will be changed and rearranged in a way where we no longer have control. And so now we have to enact certain practices to kind of distract and take her off course, remove the focus, right? Get me off of the path, no longer on the North Star, and keep me in this loop. So I got stuck in the wrong why. I got stuck on the wrong why. I got stuck in the why of the past and not the why of the future. Once I was able to say to myself, Kendall, asking myself these questions, trying to go so far back to understand is really, it's a futile practice. And that's when I really, really, truly had to say, I have to do this letting go. I have to truly let go. And when I tell you, I had no concept of letting go. I was like, how do I do that? How do I just let go of something, particularly if it's not tangible? I know how to let go of a book. I know how to let go of something that is hot or, feels weird or, just I'll drop it. Okay. But how do I let go of something that has been such a part of who I believe myself to be, how I identify, how I show up in the world? How do I just let go of a process? How do I let go of a memory? It seems so foreign to me. And I'm not going to lie, there's still parts of me that struggle in well, how do I just let this go? But more and more, I'm recognizing that the letting go is really noticing, becoming aware of, oh, this is something that affects me. This is something that I've attached to myself and have created a narrative, a story, an identity around. That's not accurate. And so I'm going to put that to the side. And the actual practice of letting go has been more of acknowledgement, compassion, recognition, because here's the thing, these parts of me really just want to be heard. I got to be honest with you, the practice of letting go is still something that I struggle with, but I'm having a better felt sense of what it is, how I can do it, and I feel that I'm getting stronger and stronger in it. I'm getting more confident with it. Letting go for me, not getting stuck in the old why or the past why, is basically recognizing when a pattern, a safety strategy is surfacing, one that hasn't helped me. I think that it's helped me in the past, but it really hasn't helped me, particularly now when I don't really need that safety strategy or that pattern anymore. And when it comes to the surface, I say, oh, okay, here it is. I'm going to do something different. Even when picking something different, doing something different feels terrifying. And one of the things that I've recognized is, I say this all the time, like, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to do the same thing. There's a million, multitude, infinite ways that I could do whatever it is that I'm going to do differently, to think something different, to have a different perspective. The way that I've been doing this now more recently is, whatever the thing is that I'm trying to let go of, let's say it's a particular thought pattern, I usually go in the opposite direction, the more positive aspect or the positive end of the spectrum of the thing that I'm trying to let go of. And that's kind of how I've been working my practice of letting go. And I find that that's been helping. Even if I don't necessarily believe it in the moment, the more that I do it, the easier it gets. And really, it's more of the truth that feels more in alignment with me, rather than continually focusing on that past why. So I flipped my whys. I no longer ask, well, why did that happen? And why did that person do this? And why do I respond this way? Now I ask myself, why do I want this newer, truer version of myself? Why do I want to live more intentionally? Why do I want to live with more integrity? Why do I want to live from a place of joy? Why are these things important to me? And that why feels more alive. That feels more electric in my body than the why of, why did I do that? That feels heavy. I mean, can you feel that? I mean, why did I do that? Versus, why do I want to be a person who has joy? That is exciting. That why definitely makes me more curious and makes me investigate even more. Okay, well, what is joy? Like, that exploration and that curiosity is way more fun. That research is way more exciting than, why did this past thing happen? I don't know, y'all. I don't have the answers. I'm just figuring things out as I go along, but I really truly enjoy this new North Star why, this curiosity into the unknown, as fearful as it is, because it is the unknown. I don't know what it is that I'm creating. I don't know what it is that I'm building, but it's exciting because I know what I've already created. And a lot of that, like I said in previous videos, was in default. It was from a place of pain. And so I've been asking myself, well, what can I create from a place of joy? What can I create from a place of intentionality? What can I create from a place of focusing on self, loving self, and then spreading that out, like starting at the core within myself, in the center of my being and my body, and then letting that radiate out? What would that life look like? That seems more exciting. As always, we're on this journey together. I wanted to say this before I close. I had some plans this weekend. I'm in Atlanta, and Atlanta, listen, I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Florida. And this weekend we're supposed to be experiencing some pretty nasty weather, some icy rain, possibly some snow, but definitely some ice. And as I have heard since living here, moving here to Atlanta, Atlanta folk really don't know how to deal with cold, but guess what? Neither do I. Me and cold do not mix. And so I'm trying to prepare for this weekend, and I know that everything's going to be okay. Nothing in my body and my spirit tells me that there's going to be any issues or any problems. I don't have anywhere to go this weekend. Like I said, the plans that I had, I will have to restructure. There are things that I'm going to be doing that are more responsible, and I got to take care of the errands that I need to take care of. I had all these ideas and plans of like doing these wonderful artsy fartsy things for the weekend, and that might not happen. It may just be I'm getting my car serviced and making sure that I have good tires, and that's it. But in either case, one of the things that I have planned is I made reservations, dinner reservations for myself. I put it on a day where this cold snap is not supposed to be as intense. So it looks like I can still have these dinner plans, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. I picked this really nice restaurant, and it is a dinner for one, a dinner for me. I love taking myself out to dinner. I love taking myself to the movies. I love going on solo trips and vacations. It's been a while since I've done that. And so I'm really trying to make that a plan for 2026 where I'm able to have at least one solo trip, even if it's for a quick weekend, something that I can do where I just get to take myself on a journey and explore it and have a good old time. So as always, y'all, come along with me on this journey. It's going to be fun. It is fun. Okay? What can we create together? What can we make together?